All right, what's up, YouTube? Xraypc here, and we're going to be seeing if Warframe is worth playing for us in 2025.
Playing in 20.
There's that one trailer really got me interested. I really want to take a deep dive and play. I haven't played Warframe since Ash Prime came out, and I played it on like PlayStation, like when I was in college, like 8 years ago.
25. That's a good question. One you might have clicked on this very video for. Because while it still has strong numbers, jumping into a game that is
I recently
over
even
a
checked again,
decade
and it definitely
old
still
now
has strong
sure
numbers.
Makes you think twice.
When did this come out? 2 months ago? Yeah, it still has about 50 to 65,000 people on before the update drops.
To team up with, or are you about to board a sinking ship? Well, in this video, I'm gonna answer all of
it's
this.
60K
so
plus. Now they have mobile, and it's already been on PlayStation. It's on Xbox.
In 2025 is for you or not.
It's on PlayStation and it's
always,
on
big
mobile
shout
now.
out to all our generous channel
On top of
members.
PC.
And now, let's get right into it. Now, let's start out the video with the first and probably most important question out of all. What even is Warframe? This question is actually a little bit of a community
no, that's when they first added the open world.
Warframe over the years
has
acquired so many different game modes and so much different content that it is relatively hard
fishing?
to put it in one distinct box.
What the heck?
If I were to
I thought that was No
explain
Man's
it in
Sky.
the simplest terms possible, then what I would say is that yes, Warframe technically is a co-op shooter that you can play alone or with up to 3 friends.
There's horses?
Playing as one of over 60 different space.
That's what Skyrim looks like with that helmet on.
Warframes, going to town against hordes and hordes of different enemy factions, wielding hundreds of different individual weapons. That would be the surface level
Oh my
stuff.
gosh.
One thing that sets Warframe apart
is a lot. It's still not as much as Borderlands, which is my favorite,
very
but
special movement system that you have.
Hopefully,
here,
I like this more.
Most other shooters are relatively
Destiny?
grounded in how you play them.
Destiny's super grounded.
Warframe has a very crazy.
Destiny's, Warframe is anime as hell.
You spend more time in the air than actually on the ground. You're probably also seeing it in the background right now.
Yep.
You can jump super
it's
high.
Speedrun like simulator half the time.
Maneuvers, and it not only looks very cool and impressive, it also feels very smooth from a gameplay perspective. You'll be able to pull off all these maneuvers.
Even on a controller, which I didn't really like playing as much as a mouse and keyboard.
These missions that you play and that you also see in the background take place across a variety of different stellar bodies in the universe.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to explain this.
Mars to the overgrown forests of futuristic
they changed their
Earth,
story mode even too.
Into more abstract environments like the
even the starting experience different.
And trotty laboratories that you're gonna find later in your playthrough.
Yeah, damn the numbers.
A lot of not only visual variety, but also tons of different mission types, so that no 2 runs that you do ever feel exactly the same. And as if these standard randomly generated missions are not enough, there are also multiple different open world areas in the game, like the Plains of Eidolon on Earth.
That's what I want to try out. I never got to try that. I wanted to come back for that, but I never did.
Or the fantasy parallel universe of Deviri. All these open worlds not only offer the standard missions, similar to what you would run on your standard star map mission nodes, but they also have more exotic activities, like, for example, fishing, if you're up for a relaxed Sunday afternoon.
You just spear it to death?
Into a cave and mine valuable minerals that you can then use as a resource to craft specific items or exchange for more reputation with the locals. As you see,
so they make it way more of an MMO now.
Unable to describe what Warframe really is, kind of is rooted in all the different game modes and features that you
advertise your
can
clan
if you like them, or completely
like your actual guild.
Don't. And what about updates?
I know they had guilds, but
new stuff?
I don't know if they experiment to make it better.
Yes. For the last couple of years, Warframe has followed a strict schedule of releasing 4 major content updates per year, 1 per quarter, with the December update being by far the largest, usually introducing a new chapter to the main story with a whole bunch of other stuff. And when we're talking about content updates in general, then one thing I want to make very, very clear here is that in contrast to other games, like for example Destiny 2, who over time remove old content from the game, or maybe even worse, gacha games like Genshin Impact, who have time-limited events that—
Bro, Genshin Impact, bruh. Oh my god. I can't anymore, bruh. This game gotta be put down.
Don't reoccur, and if you haven't been there at the right time,
I'm sorry,
you will
bro.
never get to know certain story aspects behind characters or other important things. All of this is not a concern in Warframe, because every piece of content that has been introduced to the game since its release is still there to be played and enjoyed by everyone.
Bro, that's making fun of Destiny. He has to be poking fun of Destiny. Not guy. I feel like Did he make fun of Destiny over here? No, he didn't, huh? Bro, ain't no way he's saying this and not bringing up Destiny. They literally got sued for it.
Everybody, with the exception being some very, very few and small time.
What MR are you, by the way?
Occur once
MR.
per year or so. However, I would say they make up less than 1% of the entire game. But now, what about the loot? After all,
Also, we're watching
Warframe
this live on
still be
twitch.tv/Xraypc.
looter shooter. So what are
Mastery
we
rank?
looting?
Oh,
See, the main difference.
shoot, boy. Shit. I don't remember. I downloaded just in case because I was like, you know what? But then this is 51 minutes like 2 years ago when I downloaded on my old PC that couldn't even run the game and it literally almost fried itself. Because I played it on PlayStation. That's where I played most of my time. I bought like Ash. I have Ash and Ash Prime and a couple other ones. And I did play it for probably 3 weeks. So however far I got in 3 weeks, like 8 years ago, that's how far. That's what mastery rank I am.
Looter shooter peers is that here you're not grinding for the perfect randomly generated weapon that
Borderlands
is
and Diablo and Borderlands and Destiny and like all the ARPGs. That's why I love looter shooters or looter genre. That's my favorite PvE genre. But I never got to really invest myself in Warframe. Like I played it and no-lifed it for 3 weeks straight and then stopped playing it.
Not randomly
I played Division. I know like Division. I know like Destiny. I know like Diablo and every other ARPG more than I know life Warframe.
And that is something much more prevalent. There is a pretty vast modding system where you can put these stat cards
Genshin is a starting point for most gotcha. Yeah.
Warframes to massively increase their
power
and tune them to your personal preferences.
I know like the basics of Warframe that's been there since the beginning.
You can put different elements on them. It will take me hours to explain the entire system, so I'm gonna stop it right here.
Okay.
But in general, in Warframe, the loot that you're looking for.
That's cool. It actually shows you. Okay, I didn't even realize. Did they always show the combinations of stuff? Like I didn't even know there was radiation, and then it's like fire plus electric, heat. Then there's blast, which is heat and ice. Then there's viral, which is ice and poison. I remember. I think I remember poison damage. I didn't know there's a thing called viral. I remember fire damage, I think. And I think I even remember shock, kind of. Or heat, I guess. But I don't remember this. I wonder if that's here because it's in his build somewhere. Damn, then that's a lot of content you're gonna... Yeah, literally, 8 years, bro. Like, I literally synced my PlayStation count, went in, and I don't know where I'm at and don't even know what I'm doing. So I'm like, I have to binge just every video teaching you about Warframe and what to do in 2025 or something. Because I don't know what the heck I'm doing now. I don't know where I left off in the story. Then they changed the story. And then like I'm like, huh? Then they added like the new like personal stories that I wanted to do, like Warframe 1999 and all that. And the new one coming out. That's why I'm watching this video. I want to get to see if I want to get into it for that new stuff. I really want to get into it, but I need to like see more.
If I'm being fully honest, I could probably go on for multiple hours listing all types of features and things that you can do in Warframe, but that would overload the video pretty hard. So instead, in the rest of the video, we're going to take a deeper look at different specific
the new player experience. Okay, that's another one I want to see.
Want to know before
story lore and spoiler free. Cool, thank you.
Like the video to make sure
special community. I know the special community is good. I can skip that part. I think maybe.
Years on the clock.
Bugs.
Cheers so much for
performance
your support.
And tech. Free to play or pay to win.
So much for the rough overview of what Warframe.
Also, yeah, I got into Soulframe, so
looks like on a day-to-day.
I've been in Soulframe, but yeah, I've been in Soulframe for a while, but now it's not going to be reset anymore.
So. Trying to say. However, all of
I
this
could full jump to the ship of Warframe and Soulframe.
There is still one very important question.
Holy Warframe, yes sir. The new thing comes out in 10th.
Getting into an MMO is asking themselves, and that is how does the player count look like?
It has to be massive. If 55k just on PC alone.
Is the game still stable, or is it already in decline where you don't want to be the person boarding the sinking ship? Well, with Warframe, this is actually quite a positive point. Yes, the game officially released in 2013 and thereby is 12 years old now, but it still is boasting very respectable numbers, with SteamDB saying around about 50,000 average players.
If Paladins had 55,000 on just Steam alone and not the consoles, and then they did the crossplay, I probably wouldn't have quit. Let's just say that.
So,
55k is good on just Steam alone.
Like this for 5 years
it went up.
Already.
Literally, it's gone up and up and up. And then yeah, they've never hit this peak again, but they could. They're gonna be doing some big announcement I heard at the Game Awards and stuff.
Sure,
on top
there
of like the
was
new
a
patch
time
coming
in
out or new
2017,
expansion,
2018,
free to play
where the first
expansion coming
open
out.
world sections of the game released that led to
You
a
don't even have to
surge
buy
in
it.
player count, which hasn't ever really been achieved over a longer
Your friend's
period of
a
time
big
ever
Warframe
since.
creator, so you play
However,
every
if
now
you
and
look at
then.
the
It's getting
graph
good right
over
now.
the
Hell yeah.
grand scheme of things over the entire lifespan, then I think we're not really seeing a decline. We're just being stable for years on end with the occasional peak whenever a big new update comes out. And of course, what you're seeing right here is just the Steam graph, right? But you can also play Warframe with the launcher that you download from the Warframe website, in which case, if you do that, you're not even gonna show up here. And then there's all the console versions plus mobile. So if you see 50,000
Yeah, this game's on
concurrent
mobile too
players on
now.
Steam, that's only one.
And it's been on
part of the
Android, but I
picture,
think they're putting on
meaning
iOS now
all
or
in
something
all,
like that.
I wouldn't necessarily worry about Warframe dying anytime soon. But okay, let's just assume you made the decision that you want to start
Active player
playing
count is stabilized at
Warframe
50K,
right now.
but since the
Welcome
start of
to
the year
game.
it was 80.
Now,
Hell yeah.
let's take a look at how the actual new player experience in 2025
Okay, new player experience.
is,
Okay, there you go.
because while it is cool that
You brought up new
Warframe
player
does
experience and he
not
brought
delete
brings up
old content, everything that has ever been released is still there. That also means the game is a little bit infamous for being very overwhelming for new players because all the activities from 10 years of content are being on offer at the same time. Well, let me be 100% real, this is not necessarily wrong. Yes, it is great that there is so much content, but as a new player who can choose between doing the Star Chart missions, playing in the open world, spending time on the Nightwave Battle Pass, and absolutely everything else that is available, it is a bit overwhelming, and the game still is very far away from doing a great job at giving you that red line that you probably want to have. However, it should also be noted that the new player experience has massively improved over the last few years, with loads and loads of quality of life features being added, like revamped boss fights, making them more
Thank God.
interesting and more distinct.
That
Stuff
was a
like
big pain
speeding
point,
up
I
early
think,
game
for
progression,
sure.
making it that
I didn't really
crafting
like the
some
boss
items
fights.
doesn't take as long anymore, giving you essential
Okay,
mods
that's good.
for
Thank God.
upgrading your equipment as a reward for finishing
I
the
hated
first
that
few
back in the
story
day.
missions, so you don't have to grind for them anymore.
Oh, I hate that too,
Overhauling
yeah,
the
thank
UI a
God.
bit here and there to make it easier to grasp what you actually need to do, and many more things.
Is
Long
it?
story short,
Maybe I'm
no,
tripping.
Warframe
I still was kind of
to do,
confused.
overhauling the UI a bit here and there to make it
Oh, it tells you like, oh snap, what the heck are you click on
easier
for
to
that?
story missions, so you don't have mods for up.
Even when I came back like a long time ago and played the 50
crafting
minutes on my
some
terrible
items
PC, I was lost.
doesn't take as long anymore, giving you essential
Oh, and then okay, if you click
mods
that,
for upgrading
oh, well snap.
your equipment as a reward for finishing the first few story missions.
Must have been
so you
recent
don't
or
have
something,
to
'cause
grind
maybe
for
I
them
don't think that
anymore,
was there when I came
overhauling
back.
the UI a bit here and there to make it easier to grasp what you actually need to do, and many more things.
They focus so
Long
much on the
story
new player
short,
experience of this
no,
year, and you guess are
Warframe
reaping the
is
rewards.
not
New
a
player experience is
Ubisoft
still low key
game where
bad.
you have a
Like the game
big
just doesn't
fat
explain
red
things
marker on
well.
your HUD
I feel like that
constantly
definitely
points
hurts
you
me. I was like, what the
exactly
heck?
to the point where you need to go. The game is
Except
not
in
that
missions.
handholdy, but also it is definitely the most beginner friendly it has ever been right now, and it's only getting better with, for example, the release of the next big update, which will happen in a couple of weeks. We don't have a release date just yet, but it's probably going to be in October.
Another
where
new quest
they've
as a
announced to
teacher?
release a full-fledged new player quest that is dedicated to teach you step by step how the modding and upgrading process for weapons and Warframe works, as that is one of the biggest complaints for new players, that they just find it too overwhelming and scary.
Honestly,
And,
yeah.
let's be honest.
I was definitely confused. I think even going back, I'll still understand it for the most part, but I was definitely confused. If I didn't have a bunch of friends forcing me to learn the game with them, and they're like, I will teach you, come on, listen to me, play with me, we'll explain the game, you just listen to us. I'm like, all right. If I didn't have that,
if you look at this
I'd have been
screen for
lost.
the first time,
Like-
I do understand why you would say this.
yeah.
But yeah.
But honestly, the first Ascendant did pretty much that. It was exactly that. So if you came from like the first Ascendant, you could play
overall, the
Warframe.
new player experience is far from perfect, but it is still actively
Doesn't really
being
explain
worked on,
modding, you just throw in a
making
few
the game
mods, like
more
it shows you how to
beginner-friendly,
equip them.
update by
Are you saying the thing that he
update,
just
but
talked
still,
about or
you
no?
will probably feel overwhelmed here and there.
Because he just said that this is months ago. This is not
recent.
recent a video either. This is like months ago, 2 months ago. So 2 months ago they
Have
added
a beginner guide on YouTube.
two
There
months
are
ago they
a
added
lot
something
of
apparently
videos
that
out there. I've
explained
also made
modding.
some of them that
Because
are
that was
very good
that
at
was
just
my pain point.
explaining the overall framework and
Yeah, there's a
giving
lot. Oh
you
my
that
god, look at all
red
the guys
line
there.
on how to best progress through the game without being distracted. But hey, who knows? Maybe you're not here to grind and upgrade and live this power fantasy. Maybe you're looking for an MMO with a nice, deep lore and story that you can uncover for yourself. And
That's funny because it used to
experience.
just
How
have
does
no
Warframe
story.
hold up
So
in that
if you asked me
regard?
8 years ago, I would have told you I
Well,
don't know what the
first
hell
of
the
all,
story
one
is.
thing I want to make clear
But
right at
all
the
these
start
cool
of this
new story
chapter is
missions
I'm
I want to
not
play.
gonna spoil anything. In fact, I'm not even going to explain anything about the story at all. The only thing that I do want to say here is that Warframe is often mistaken for being this super over-the-top power fantasy where you're just deleting enemies left and right, with the story just being a shallow, tagged-on
What
thing,
the hell
just
is
to be
the
able
sword
to
is
give
huge
a
as
renewed
hell?
reason for why you're even
Shit
doing
went
the
off the
things that you're
screen.
doing. And whoever says that is completely wrong. See, the thing with Warframe is that the Warframe universe is actually very fascinating with a deep running lore.
It's not like this is
and
good,
a
the thing they
lot
added?
to
Okay.
uncover about not only
I'll
the
just watch a
story
bunch of
the
videos,
Tenno
understand
and the
it.
Warframes, but also the enemy factions, how they work, what their ideals
Oh, that
are,
looks cool.
how they came to be, and many, many more very interesting topics. With the biggest step taken in terms of story over the last couple years being the Kim system,
Are this supposed to be
which
glasses?
is a
What the-
chatting system that allows you to exchange messages with in-game characters.
They
to
learn from
get to
anime
know them
games.
more, to uncover more about their personalities, and actually experience some really emotional stories. The depth of this relatively new communication system being added to the game is incredibly surprising.
That's the
It is
anime game
very
thing.
well executed, and you're not only learning more about the characters that you're chatting with, but also about the lore of the entire Warframe universe. If you're a fan of this type of stuff, then the Warframe 1999 update that came last winter is definitely something that you
That's
should
what I
check
think I
out.
literally downloaded the
Just
game for
one thing
again
that
on
also
PC.
absolutely
Because I was
needs
like,
to
you
be
know what, I'm gonna get
mentioned
into
is
this.
that
Open
Warframe
world, Warframe
is
1999, all
definitely
this stuff
not
is so cool.
straightforward in its storytelling.
And then I
Most
just got
of what's
confused and my
going on
computer
is
almost blew up.
either explained through short cutscenes,
Now I have an actual good computer.
dialogues within the mission, or, and that sounds very much like a Souls game now, in the description of items and equipment pieces. In fact, if you're a fan of straightforward
cool.
storytelling, where a question is being raised at the beginning of the story and then you work through the story and at the end you have your satisfying conclusion, that is just not what's gonna happen in Warframe.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably still on
Yes,
the Elden Ring style.
there is a deep lore to uncover, and you can learn a lot more than you learn from just
I'm gonna
playing
watch
the
lore
missions
videos.
if you really invest the time and dig through your item descriptions.
But
to
the
find
1999
bigger
stories and all
picture.
that stuff I'm
But
gonna watch.
that is
Or
only
play.
really satisfying if you're the type of player who likes that type of stuff. If you want to have a straightforward story, start to finish, and at the end have your conclusion, which by the way is perfectly fine, I'm kind of also more of that type of player, then you might not be satisfied and be left over with a couple question marks after the fact. And just in case you're the type of player who doesn't care about story at all and just needs a simple reason to go to town on 100 different enemies,
You can
well,
totally do that
then
too.
you could of course also just ignore it entirely. That's fair. Everybody's free to play the game however
Story?
they see
Which story?
fit.
I have friends that
Now,
literally will play
let's
a
up next
story-only
go from talking
game.
about the
Nothing else
virtual
about it is good
characters in
except
the
the
game
story. And they'll be
to
like,
the
I'm
actual
skipping all the
real-life
story. I'm like,
human
alright, bet.
beings
So
playing
why
it.
you even buy the
Let's
game, bro?
next talk about
Like,
the community,
this
because
game is
I
not
can
for the
imagine
gameplay.
that before jumping in, a lot of players would probably like to know how the general atmosphere among players is. See, you might have heard it from other people before, and I'm gonna repeat the same thing again.
Damn.
The Warframe community overall
Almost a
is
million?
a very polite and a very welcoming, wholesome community. Yes, there are toxic people, just like in any other community.
I was gonna say, there's toxic
and
people all the
as
time.
a YouTuber
It's
or
not
a
bullshit.
content creator in general, you naturally get exposed much more to those negative influences. I'm sure most other creators watching right now will understand very well
Yep.
what I mean, but all of this is far from being representative.
There's always somebody
for
trying
the
to tell you how to do
community
your
as a
YouTube
whole.
channel. Always somebody trying to tell you
Especially
your
if
builds
are
are
a
wrong.
beginner
Always
or
somebody
a
trying to tell you
returning
this. Always somebody tell you
player, you
that.
will struggle to find another place on the internet where you're being
Saying you're
welcomed
the dumbest
with
person ever
open
lived.
arms the way that it is in Warframe.
Welcome,
If you
friend.
have a
Ooh, ooh.
question, you can just pop into
Honestly,
the
bro,
in-game chat and you
I don't know, because there's a lot of people back even 8 years ago and even still where I literally bring up Warframe, how people used to would get scammed on here, and people are like, I still do that. I'm like, So I don't know. There's still some toxic people, bro. There's some people scamming new kids that come to the game. They don't know better. They look at what the new update. It looks super cool. They join the game and then they get scammed in trading.
We'll
I don't
find
know.
somebody to answer that for you.
My friend
If you're
literally
struggling with a
scammed
mission
like a
type,
couple kids and then gave me the freaking platinum that he earned.
just go to the recruit chat and say, hey, I'm a beginner, I'm struggling with that mission.
Hey,
Can
I'm a
somebody
beginner.
help me?"
Scammed.
And I'm sure within seconds there are going to be veterans who are more than happy to answer your question and help you through the mission. So yeah, long story short, as a beginner, the Warframe community definitely doesn't bite.
Oh my god. That thing's OP. That has to be one of the best things in the game.
Long story short, as a beginner,
why do you even need that much crit chance? Is that bullshit? Like, is that Photoshop? 330% crit chance and 220% crit damage?
Community definitely doesn't bite. So far, so
Are you talking
good.
about the
Game
quest
sounds
they added like last month? I think okay, not in depth, but like it teaches them magnetic and mod combinations. I mean, yeah, it's just the game is so in depth that it's like let's say like Inazuma, like we're playing Inazuma, right? If you don't read the actual like help menu, most of the stuff is going to go over your head. You're not going to understand. There's like a bunch of mechanics you're totally missing. You don't want me doing. There's tons of things you're not building because you don't know. There's tons of things that like you don't mean put the right bean stat things on because you don't understand the hidden like modifiers and stuff like that. And on this one, it's like you don't realize, like, let's say with First Ascendant, they have the same thing where it's like the slot. If you match the symbol to the slot, if you don't do that, then it like you don't get the cheaper cost because there's like a big cost to put like things in that slot. And I don't know, there's just like
amazing, right? However, it isn't amazing if you can't even play it in the first place. So
true.
Let's also
But yeah,
talk about
that's
the technical aspect of the piece of software.
There's just so much to it that I have to watch like countless
there
videos
are
to remember
quite
everything.
A couple things that should be mentioned here. First off, Warframe is a relatively
which is kind of hard to
lean
explain all
game,
that, I
let's
guess,
call it
in the
that,
tutorial
when it
without it
comes
being
to
boring.
overall resource consumption. Yes, it has become more demanding over the last
There's a
few
marketplace
years with the
website
release
now
of
that
more
kind of
modern
removes
and
all
more
of it. If
graphically
you just
intense
use that, you
updates.
get the lowest
But then
prices all
again,
the time.
There are tons of options that you could tweak to make the game run smoother on your personal
Oh, thank God,
hardware.
has DLSS.
As for the other platforms, on the big consoles, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, I haven't seen
Oh, it is on
anyone
Xbox.
complaining about performance, so I assume that runs fine, even though I can't test it myself. However, I did hear from a couple of people that the Nintendo Switch
Is this guy's build
version
crazy or
is
what?
quite a
1.5
bit weaker in
million?
performance and also has pretty long loading times. Again,
I
can't
like this
confirm
color.
that
Oh,
for
dude, they
myself.
must have added that. That must be new. Dude, like brightish dark red with like a good outline. What the hell?
But it
I
would
like
be
that.
expected, you know, from a
That has
generally
me now.
weaker hardware that is the Switch.
I used to hate
And
the font
when
of the
it comes to the
text
phone version,
and
then
all that, all the
currently
coloring
it is
and everything.
unfortunately only available for
Everything used to just be
iOS,
white
which
and
I don't
bright
own,
yellow.
so I can't
That
even
was it.
play it on mobile myself. If there are some iPhone players watching right
Yeah. Oh.
version, then currently it is unfortunately only available for iOS, which I don't
This is
own,
levels of
so
crit?
I can't
Oh.
even play it on mobile myself. If there are some iPhone players watching
Hey, at least y'all get it on phone.
right now, feel free to share your experience with
God
the
damn.
iOS version in the comments down below. I would be thrilled to
Normal
hear how
crits are
that
yellow,
runs,
then there's orange
but
and
from
red.
What has been said at TennoCon earlier this year, it looks like
Dark
there
red
may
is
be
always in
end
the
of
game, but
development
during
for
the time you
Android
played, it wasn't
version, so
common
maybe at the end of
to
the
get that
year,
crit level.
hopefully early next
Now
year,
everyone can
we
get that
will
crit level?
also finally get the Android version for all types of Android devices, so you can finally play Warframe.
I think they literally said, I watched like a little bit of, there's like a live stream thing. They always do the giant live streams. And I still don't even know what the hell was going on. So I was just like watching on the side while I'm playing my game. And I think they said something about Google Play
on your
coming.
smart fridge or something. But no,
It's
what
been
I'm saying
Star.
in general is Warframe's
Hell.
performance is doing pretty well, even if you're not having the craziest gaming PC. The game too is fully cross-platform, so you can play together with your friends even if your friends are on completely different devices. You can also trade with, talk to, and build clans with players on other platforms. And also you as a player are not limited to just one platform. You can play at home on your PC, and then when you're sitting in the train, just fire up Warframe on your phone. That's perfectly doable. The only
You would
thing
have to have a
regarding
good phone running that
performance
thing.
that I
I guess
personally
it's
am
only
not
iOS,
100%
right? So yeah, I guess you
satisfied
just get to
with
use
is
Apple
the fact that
iPhone
the
and that's
game
it.
can be a bit buggy when you're playing online in a lobby with bad internet connection. That can lead to quite some trouble and funny bugs, but it can also happen that the host drops out and then the host migration fails and you lose all your mission progress.
Oh, hell
I'm not
no.
saying that happens all the time, but every longtime Warframe player will surely agree it does happen often enough in public lobbies to be a bit of a pain point. By the way, if you've ever lost something very valuable due to a failed host migration, just let us know in the comments down below which was the most painful item that you have ever lost because you got thrown out of a mission. I'm curious to hear your stories.
Does this game get hard enough that you have to do online matches? I remember most of the time there was some missions, but I don't know. I was really new and my friend wasn't like he was kind of in game but not in game enough. You could play all solo. Because even in First Ascendant, you could get Super OP to play stuff solo, but it took
and given the fact
like
that you
6
don't
months
even
or
have to
something.
pay a single cent to be able to jump in, that makes it quite enticing.
Nothing in the game is hard enough where you
However,
can't solo it.
also
Gotcha,
raises
okay.
another question. If it is free to play, how does the monetization look like? Is it a fairly monetized game or is it a cheap cash grab with pay-to-win features? Let's talk about the free-to-play system next, and I am very happy to announce Warframe is one of the most customer-friendly.
It definitely is one of the most customer-friendly. Even back 8 years ago, it was customer-friendly.
When it comes to how they handle their
That's the one thing I'll give it no
monetization.
matter what.
See, just like other free-to-play games, Warframe 2 has a premium currency. Here it is called Platinum, and from this currency you can buy pretty much everything in the shop. From boosters for experience to resources or whatever, to weapons and warframes, and tons upon tons of cosmetic options like skins, armor pieces, color palettes, you name it, to make your Warframe look as bling as humanly possible.
When did they start showing the human skin and
Not
stuff?
just that, even in-game items, upgrades, mods, and so on that aren't directly purchasable from the official store, you can still trade with other players and buy those things from Platinum, which on the other hand also means you don't even have to pay a single cent in order to get Platinum for yourself. You can just sell stuff off to other players and make your money this way. And this is not just a theoretical option. Many players, veterans in specific, are making thousands of Platinum all the time just by farming valuable items and selling them off to other players. This is nothing reserved to endgame players only. Even at lower levels, you can already gain access to stuff that sells for a couple of Platinum, which will not make you rich, but it will be enough to buy you more inventory space for new weapons and all the type of stuff that a new player would like to have.
Oh shit.
Just by the way,
it's like PoE where I have to buy inventory
trading,
space.
I released a huge comprehensive guide on how to best do that just a couple of days ago. You can check it out later.
Like endgame builds are significantly above the top power level of the game. It's a power fantasy game. You're always gonna be OP. Yeah, that's looter shooters though.
Then you can technically buy yourself power.
You can play easily for free, but you can very easily pay to win. You can for sure load up the game, get 4K plat, and just have every good build instantly.
That is perfectly viable, even though a lot of players in the community will tell you that you're playing the game wrong. And on the other hand, if you have a lot of time to play but no money, then you will also be able to have fun because you can farm for pretty much everything.
Yeah, right there. He said if you have a bunch of money, you could...
There is nothing that you could only gain from real money that is important for in-game progression. So when it comes to monetization, I can hardly imagine how you could make a free-to-play game with premium items fairer for the customer than the way that they do it.
Oh, the frames are a lot cheaper now.
And finally,
unless they've always been that cheap, but I feel like they're kind of expensive.
I want to talk about, and that does not necessarily
I remember I had to spend like
to do with starting the game,
$15 or something back in the day for like one frame.
To go. See, if you're somebody looking for a game that you can sink 1,000 hours or more into, then you will naturally have.
I'm pretty sure if you play for 3 weeks straight, you would have some good prime stuff vaulted, self-plat.
What am I grinding and farming for? So let's talk
I know for sure I have
in
Ash
the last
Prime
chapter
because I was using the hell out of that.
See, the thing with Warframe is that a lot of the motivation, a lot of the stuff that you
I don't know all
want
the
to
weapons.
grind and play for has to come from you yourself. If you want to have the nicest, most beautifully decorated orbiter, then absolutely go for it. If you want to drip out every single Warframe, give them the most bling possible,
Okay.
then
That's
100%
so
do
Scalper,
that.
that's cool.
In fact, there is a long-standing joke in the Warframe community that says fashion frame is endgame because after thousands of hours, the only real goal you have left is to look as stylish as possible while mowing down hordes of enemies. And as I previously mentioned, Warframe has a crazy amount of customization options to give everybody the opportunity to make their frame look as cool as can be. However, one thing that also needs to be mentioned is that unlike many other games, Warframe does not technically have this one crazy high-level endgame activity. Yes, of course, later on there are game modes that are more challenging, that have higher enemy levels, but it's not that there are specific high-level dungeons that you can only
I don't think they need to be like bullet sponges. They don't need to have like MMO dungeons, but they have to have like things like Borderlands where it has super bosses, where it actually like is doable by yourself, but it, especially at the early part, you want friends to help you get through it.
access as an
Which I don't know all the content coming in that new giant update is supposed to be like one of the biggest they've had for a
game
long time.
player,
So.
and that needs highest amounts of skill to
Oh, you know
even
what? I think they
pass.
are adding something like a giant super boss in that.
Most of the activities in Warframe are in fact pretty
I
darn
swear.
easy
I
as
mean,
long
like
as
I'm
you have
watching
the right
their live
equipment
stream.
for
I didn't know
it,
what the hell
with
I'm
the
watching,
challenge
but it
coming
looked
from
like
the
a
players
giant,
themselves trying to
literal
survive as long
giant
as
super
possible in a
boss,
mission,
and I think
or
it was
to
two
do
people
it
fighting
as
it together.
quickly as they can. The game itself, though,
And you have to shoot
never
parts of it
requires
off and
this
everything.
and doesn't give you an extra reward for performing really, really well. That is, by the way, also one of the biggest complaints that longtime players, the people at the highest levels, have with Warframe, and that is that unlike other looter shooters, here you grind for all this power without ever really truly needing it. And where
Yeah.
games like Destiny, for example, also offer a reasonably high amount of PvP content that keeps players longer engaged with the game, Warframe does not really do that. I mean, yes, there is a PvP game mode, it's called
Yeah,
Conclave,
he's crazy
but
running.
this is probably the least played game mode in the entire game,
Not even
and if
surprised.
you're looking for an endgame PvP experience, then unfortunately,
This thing has
Warframe
none of
is
it.
just not the place to find that. Even if you like the way Warframe does PvP, you're probably not even going to find enough players for a lobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Even
yeah,
back 8 years
I
ago,
think
nobody
it's
played
time
it.
to come to a conclusion.
Even back 8
We've
years ago when I
talked about
played,
a
nobody played
lot of
PvP.
very
That's
important
funny as hell.
aspects when deciding if you want to invest time into a free-to-play game or not.
They still
And
won't balance
just like
that
with
thing,
any
so
other
never,
game,
no one will ever
also
play
with
it. It's
Warframe
crazy when you don't
2025,
balance it and everyone's
comes down
broken.
to your personal
Nobody plays it.
preferences,
Nobody
whether
plays PvP in
it
that
is
game.
worth playing or not. If you're looking for a
When
game to
everything's
invest
broken, no one
thousands of
is. It's
hours
like, no, that's
into
not real.
with a lot of content where your money and your time spent is well respected by the game, if you're looking for a friendly and welcoming community and a new online place to call home, even though that sounds pretty cheesy, but it is true, then Warframe might as well be your next 10,000 hour game. I'm not even exaggerating. However, on the other hand, it should also be said that if you're somebody who likes story experiences and prefers them to be relatively comprehensive, or if you're a hardcore elitist who enjoys a very challenging, very high-end endgame experience in their games, then you might find yourself disappointed after 1,000 hours when you see that all the power you've acquired isn't even necessary and there is no single enemy that is so strong that you would ever need all of that. And I think if you're still around and you've listened to all of it, then you will now be well equipped to decide for yourself if you want to give Warframe a go, or maybe return to it after a longer hiatus, or not.
Oh,
As
is that
the
it?
game
The fuck?
itself, the
No, I
DNA
just watched
that
so the
is
newest
there that
thing
makes
that
up
just
the core
happened
of
like
the
a couple
game
days ago.
hasn't really changed ever since, but if what you heard resonates with you, then 2025 is definitely the best point in time ever to start with Warframe. And if you have any further questions, just post them in the comments down below. I will do my best to.
All right, well, definitely got me interested. I just want to see what's in the actual next update, but well, I'll catch you guys around on YouTube later. Hope you have a great day.